What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Full Credit to the Boys. Obviously, a really somber one, this one. 32-20. The Parramatta Eels beat the Warriors at home. Appreciate all you guys coming through tonight. 14 people currently viewing this either on Ash Thomas on YouTube or WUTV. Guys, feel free. I haven't double-checked this, but I'm pretty sure we're so close to 1,400 subscribers on YouTube. We're 5 away last time I checked. I'm soon going to check again to see if we're close to about that, but again, guys, a somber moment, a somber day here for the Warriors. That looks like season gone for me, guys. Unfortunately, what can you say? That was very, 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 very poor. Defensively is really the big issue for me. We cannot defend our line. I'll talk about that more and more as we go through with it. But that was a poor one. Shout out to the guys in the chat, Nido, Jerry, Nido, Jazz 4, Daily Yam. I love Jazzy. Appreciate the Jazzy, unfortunately leaving us, but all love to Jazzy. Jerry, what's going on, my bro? That was the worst effort all year. I don't know about that, bro. That Titans game was a poor effort, but that rivals it. That's right there with it, I reckon. Jacko, good to see you here, my bro. 40, Torn, SJ, and Dallin Woolsack. Oh, 40 with the jokes, my man. Tahi, good to see you jump over as well, my bro. Appreciate you with the live stream as well earlier on tonight. Zach Brav, they didn't want it enough, and unfortunately, that is really what it is. I feel like, it's just been one of those seasons. Frustration, yep, 100%. Isaac, poor play, yes. Jackie here, the DNA since 2011 returned big time. Defense was pathetic at times. Agreed. And I know a lot of people are going to come out and blame Sean Johnson. A lot of people are going to come out and blame and say RTS should go fullback. I've seen a lot of those comments already. I totally disagree. Shawnee had one bad miss in defense. In my opinion, he turned inside instead of turning out on the Blaze Talangi move. Other than that, I think maybe you could question a little bit, attacking wise, he was a tiny bit rusty, but I don't think he was a full problem. Defensively was our complete problem in this game, and I will not pudge off that. I think that overall, it just shows what the biggest problem has been to our season, and it shows that our cohesion has been completely off this season, is our goal line defense is just not up to scratch. We had the moment in the game, we looked really, really dominant, especially with ball in play, where everything's going our way, both sides of the right. We're running out of our back end, getting ourselves in good field position. We're defending and holding the Eels down in their end. But as soon as a couple things don't go our way and the Eels start to get field position on us, they had two moments there, two sets to crack us on our line. The first one, we forced an error. The second time, they crack us. And it just has been a revolving door throughout this whole season, our defense. Honestly, it's been a moment for them. As soon as teams start scoring points on us, bang, they start to get confidence, and it's really, really hard to switch momentum back the opposite way. As I keep saying, you look at teams like the Penrith Panthers, or even if you don't only go for the best team in the competition, let's look at the Bulldogs. The reason why the Bulldogs are the most consistent team in the competition is their defense. And I will not shift away from that. The best defensive team in the competition wins the competition. That's usually the way it works, guys. I know a lot of people will be talking about our attack, and yes, at the end of the game, we put on 20 more points, but it did look somber during that. I won't pull away from it. It was 30-4 at one point there. A couple of consolation tries later on in that game when we started to shift the ball around a little bit, but again, I'll die on the hill. It was 30-4 at that one stage, and that's not good enough. But the big thing I take away from that, it was 30 points we conceded. 30 points we conceded. And a lot of that came down from errors. We had 15 errors in this game. Am I correct? 15 errors, guys. What halfback in the world with 15 errors on the back of that will get that done? Honestly, like I really, really, really struggle to see a lot of people say that, Sean Johnson was a problem, all the comments that are going to be coming out this week. And I really, really feel for Shawnee because he's going to be feeling it after this week. His kicking boot wasn't there tonight, especially goal kicking. I think there's a lot of that, the curse of, Brook on play on, but just goal line defense, man. Goal line defense. Like, I appreciate the defensive effort, holding teams down their own end. I appreciate that effort because that's a really good way to really shift momentum back in our favor, try to cause errors and find our way into good field position. Parramatta did a really good job to really try to hold on to the ball as much as they could. They had 10 errors at least as well, so pretty high error rate there too. But as soon as the ball started to shift over into our end of the field, line breaks, people turning off in moments, marker defense was very, very poor, and just complete shutoffs in our defense is just the reason why 30 points were scored on us tonight. That is so poor, bro. It really is so poor. It really is. There's no excuse for that game. Like, for me, I can make a compelling argument for the season that injuries have hampered us. And I can even make the argument that injuries have hampered us enough to where I don't think our cohesion's together yet. But there's still a team on paper out there that everyone still believed before this game we should have beat the Parramatta Eels. I believe that too. They should have still got that done. 30 points we conceded in that game is just not good enough. And it's just been our season, unfortunately. I think the hype probably got bought into too much. I bought into the hype. When you saw the way we started the season, our preseason trials, our performance early on, when we had a full, fresh team ready to go, we looked like we were going to be very, very good team for this year. I thought that we were going to be on a hot streak to really play on for the year. A lot of things didn't go our way, but the difference from last year to this year, things didn't really go to plan last year as well. I know a lot of things, like we had a decent draw last year, but we had a couple of injuries last year as well that people do forget about. We had Tamate Martin, who was our first halfback last year, that broke his leg, and then Luke Metcalf came in mid to late in that year to really finish out the year. Remember, we switched around with Dylan Walker, Ronald Volkman, but the difference was for last year is the boys actually came together as a unit, and defensively, we started to turn teams around. We started to really find confidence from that. And that's what we've lost here. That's just my opinion from this one. Going through some of the other stats, guys, like when we're talking about like the end of the game, we started to get a little bit more possession in our hands. So we shifted possession back in our favor. But majority of that game, even though the stats say what it is, the Parramatta Eels had really good possession, and just watching that, the Roosters had just cracked the Dolphins, so they're probably going to be on a hot streak to put some scoreline on the Dolphins, which would have helped us if we end up getting the win. But anyway, we'll move on. The completion rate, we actually had 81% in the completion rate. I cannot believe that, especially with the amount of errors that we had in our game, but it is what it is there. The run meters were for us. The post-contact meters were for us. Every other area of our ball running was there. Line breaks is to the Eels. This is what I mean, guys. This is what I keep harping on. It's like running the ball is not our problem. Getting in a good field position is not our problem. Defensively is our problem. It really is our problem. We've fallen off in that area significantly from the start of the year, and we've fallen off that area significantly from last year. That's just my opinion. That's really my opinion. I'm so sorry, guys. I see the chat going absolutely mental. I just chatted a little bit about my thoughts overall. I just want to get it all out there so you guys get to hear my thoughts overall. And then I'll jump to you guys and give you your thoughts, and we'll go back and forth for a little bit. As I said, it's not going to be a completely long stream tonight, as it usually is with the Friday night streams and stuff like that. I'm going to jump off after about half an hour of doing this. But again, appreciate all you guys coming through as well. Lastly, players that I thought played fairly well. I thought Chance Nicoll-Klokstad had a game. I thought he had a really, really solid crack out there, especially the work rate out of his back end. 280 meters in this game, 22 run meters, 157 of them from kick return meters, 40 of them post contact, 1 line break, obviously scoring a try as well, 8 tackle breaks. He couldn't, I don't think he could have done much more. I thought he was really, really good in this game. Looking at other stats there, Dallin Watene-Zelezniak, 186 run meters from the back end, had a late error in that game, but the game was pretty much gone from there. But that kind of showed our season, the effort to get to the try line to score points, just get to the ground, brother. Gutho comes over, strip the balls out. That's just sums up our season. I thought Ali Leotar wasn't too bad in this game, but I thought Graham Telfer was better in the second half, but in the first half, probably a lot of the youth has come out of him a little bit there. So you start to see why young players, sometimes they'll have the errors in moments. He had that really poor one when we got in good attacking position. And that's the thing. It's like I felt like we couldn't build pressure on the opposite team's line. I felt like those moments that we got into good field position, we had the Kurt Catewell era there. We had the Tom Ale era there. We had the Moala Graham Telfer era there. That really just sums up for me is that's why I'm not putting this performance on Sean Johnson. I didn't think Sean Johnson played that bad. I honestly put it down to our defense, our goal line defense. That's really what it is. That's for me. Moving on to other players that played fairly well in this game. I thought, a lot of people, Jazzy off the bench, 124 run meters, fairly good crack from him. I thought that Mitch Barnett, as always, probably put out a really solid performance. Adafin Blake, I thought he had a solid first half. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, 146 from the wing. Probably didn't have as much moments as what we were kind of hoping for from him, but still got through a ton of work, 39 post contact, so not too bad with the line break and that. But yeah, just sums up our season, guys. It really is. I don't want to really harp on it too much. But that's just how I feel about it. Moving over to the Eels top performers, guys, you could really run through the list, but I thought Dejan Arce had a really good game. I thought his kicking game was really, really solid for a guy that's not a usual halfback. We made him look really, really good, but 55 run meters, but his kick meters, where's his kick meters at? I thought it was definitely up there. 537 kick meters. I thought he was enormous for them, trying to kick him out of trouble. Obviously, Dylan Brown having a solid game, 145 run meters, 1 line break. I think he had a couple of try assists in there too. Yep, 2 try assists, 1 line break assist. Blaze Talungi was fairly good in this game as well, obviously scoring a try, line break assist, try assist. Gutho was fairly strong in this game, just the effort that he has. 222 run meters from the back end, really solid game from him. Bryce Cartwright, I thought defensively he was really, really solid in this game. Ryan Madison got through some work. Joe Offangawi, 169 run meters. Holy shit. He did that off the bench. We can't have Joe O doing that sort of work on us, but that's just been us, guys. Again, some people probably call me one of the more optimistic Warriors fans. I think mathematically I don't even know if we even have a proper chance, but it's just, 2024 has just been that season for us, unfortunately. It really has. Comment down below your thoughts, guys. We'll run through some questions before I jump away. I'm quickly just going to check on our subscription numbers. Just so I was, 1,399, guys. We're right there. We're 1 sub away from 1,400, guys. It would be amazing. It would be an amazing moment for us, even in a somber moment, the way it is right now. If you were to enjoy this content, guys, please make sure you like and subscribe right now. All right, jumping to you guys in the chat. Hayden Dick, how does our defense consistently change? What is it? How does our defense constantly change in how effective it is? Just in lineups, honestly, it comes down to combinations in lineups, brother. I would put it down to as soon as you start switching a lot of combinations, so edge back rowers, spine members, you got different fullbacks every week. We've had different halfbacks for the last, we've had Tamani Martin, obviously Sean Johnson, just different combinations on the park. It's tough to really build a proper cohesion unit. Like, think about like some of the best like defensive units together. A lot of it comes down to just them having a lot of time together and building that, in my opinion. And obviously boys wanted to put their body in front, but that's really what it is. Like, I think injuries have really hurt us this year, and it's not just in attack, but it's in defense. But again, I don't want to use that as an excuse, because even then, like, whoever's in that jumper last year, as I said before, we've had injuries to spine members and we still found ways to get it done. And we chose the defensive way instead of the attacking way. I felt like we just lost that defensive hard edge that we had last year. And I know a lot of people continue to say our attack's predictable. There's everyone's talking about that. But honestly, when it comes down to it, if we cannot defend our line, look at the Doggies. They won that many games just basically pretty much defending people. They beat us, even though we had injuries in that, off 2 tries, off opportunistic tries. None of it came from set plays, but the defense is fucking solid. And that's what made him so consistent. That's the difference between us and them this year. We were that last year. That's why I continue to say to you guys, we cannot keep going on about halfbacks and all that sort of stuff if we cannot defend in the first place. That's my whole thing. Isaac, imagine if we played if we played the doggies playing like that. Sheesh. Yeah, they probably wouldn't have scored any tries, but honestly. Was good. Happy to see him start. Yep. Chad Ryan, bro, why don't they give Roger a good ball? Honestly, bro, I don't think we had good opportunities to do it really properly anyway. A lot of it came from the work out of the back end, but again, this is what I continue to say. Good defense starts to shift everything to where we're going to get good ball in good positions to where we can start playing football a little bit more. We just never got the opportunity of that. Ash, I've heard you say you became a fan because you were an SJ fan. I know people who follow teams around play the NBA. If he leaves, you're still going to follow the WAHS. 100%, bro. When he left the Sharkies, all my best mates, everyone knows me. If they're in this chat right now, let them know and all that. I never jumped off the Warriors ever since, jumping on with Sean Johnson and that. When he left, I was just like, well, I'm a Warriors fan. When I fell in love with Sean Johnson, it was like me entering the door, and then I fell in love with the club. And I know a lot of people would be like, what do you mean? Like, the club, they have like, especially after a game like this, but what you don't understand is like, I feel like when you fall in love with a club resembles the person that you are, if that makes sense. And I feel like no matter what, like I know we have some harsh fans and people question, everyone's allowed to have opinions, but I think when it all comes to said and done, when we walk around with a Warriors jersey on, everyone loves each other. And I feel like that's me as a person too. And like, yeah, I love the organization, bro. But yeah, Sean Johnson was just the guy to get me into the door. And that's the biggest thing. But 100%, I'm sticking around, guys. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Jerry Bow might have been Walker's last game in the club after he got injured. I've seen all the rumors out there. I did see a comment in the last live stream, my brother, that apparently like a lot of people saying that maybe they aren't true, but we're going to have to wait and see. I'm not too sure what's going on there, but I've heard all the rumors and like, yeah, it sucks if we are losing someone like him. Jacka here. Warriors Life podcast had a great interview with Graham Lowe. Really interesting his mind on coaching, dropping players, etc. Check it out if you can. I will definitely have to check it out, my brother. Like every coach has different philosophies, different systems. Like there's a lot of coaches that pick and stick. I believe in the pick and stick system. If you look at like, teams around the world, like that have had really good success, a lot of it's come down to a core unit that gets stuck together. And as a team, they build. Not a lot of it has from like people just getting dropped left, right, and center and come back up. But that's just my opinion on things. I may not be right, but that's just the way I think. Nas Williams, far too early to bring Webby into the conversation, is it? Seems like a good bloke, maybe too nice to give them a good spray. I think it's too early for that, my bro. I think honestly, he's done more than just the first grade squad for me. And that's like where I see that he's a lot better of a coach than what we've had in the past. And even if you're looking like around the league, I'd still believe that he's one of the better coaches in the league, even though he's so young, he's learning, bro. Like it's his second full year. He'll get better and better and better. I really do believe that. So, it's not, Webby's definitely learning some hard lessons, but like what that was dished up is not on Webby. That's on the players to go out there play for that jersey. And that's the difference. You know what I mean? I don't think that's all on Webby. Daniel Wilson, resilience on defense has gone missing this year. Yeah, that's exactly what I was just talking about before, my brother. That's definitely the key thing that we definitely lost from last year. And even like, I felt like we had that from the start of this year. Like we had, the Sharkies game where we had a big moment where we were holding in. The Storm game froze up both ways, but the Storm's attack so good against other teams. So it just is what it is there. And then you think of the Raiders, the Knights game, the 3-game streak that we had defensively, we were one of the best defensive teams in the competition at that period. And then like, I felt like as soon as like things started to not go our way, injuries started creeping down our lineup, we just felt like we just threw the towel in, or the hype started to become too much and the boys started believing that instead of working hard. I don't know, like that. It's tough for me as a fan to question work ethic, but like when you see on like out there to say like what's going on, I feel like maybe hype has played into it. I'm not too sure, but we definitely have lost that resilience in defense. It's something that I feel like we can definitely recoup on. Like, I feel like our defensive system works, but yeah. Chris, that's why teams like the Storm are so consistent. Attack may differ each year, but attitude is always up there. If you want to be a great team, you have to defend. Exactly. And that's what the difference was with the Broncos last year. I know they were such a good attacking outfit both years, but last year, the Broncos defensive, like I think they were the third or the second best defensive team last year. And it showed, like, it got them to the grand final. Like, you're allowed to throw the ball around if you can defend your errors. Unfortunately, at the moment, we can't defend our errors. So that's the reason why the boys are struggling to really throw the ball around and like, get confident with their football. If, like, you know, you have back-to-back sets on your line, you can't defend it. You know what I mean? That's just my thoughts. Daniel Wilson, ruck and wrestle needs some major work. In periods, I feel like we do win the wrestle in that. I honestly do think that sometimes people like in our team lose concentration in line defense. So when it moves past that ruck, but sometimes there has been moments like even in that game, we had a moment, I think it was Wade Egan in that, and someone didn't tie. I think Kurt Capewell ended up in the man pushing to the middle, but the A defender didn't work hard enough and our marker didn't work hard enough to cover up that gap. There's been moments like that. But yeah, I agree. You need to win over the ruck first, and that's where it starts. Josie, Uncle Ivan doesn't rule with the Iron Fist and still gets the boys to lift. It's mostly our boys who need some concrete. And like, if you take it out of the season, I don't want to say this as an excuse though too, but like maybe like, again, players that are looking at leaving our club, from last year, you know, all that little stuff that can unsettle little groups, but it's so weird that you see little periods too where we pick back up again. It's just like, but again, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I agree. Yeah. We don't, some coaches are those guys. Some coaches aren't those guys. Like a lot of people like Wayne Bennett doesn't really spray people a lot. Like there's a funny story about Wayne Bennett going around, obviously where he was at the Rabbits. I think it was the Rabbits got smoked by 60 by Melbourne from memory, or it could have been Penrith. And instead of looking at film, instead of getting up the boys, he just walked in there half naked and said like, let's just move on from that week. Like there's coaches like that, and then there's coaches like Desi Hasler that will have a spray in them every couple of weeks, or Craig Bellamy is a good sprayer. But, you know, some work, some don't work. It just is what it is. And I don't think a sprayer would help the Warriors. We had that with Nathan Brown. We've had that with some other coaches out there. So that's just me. Jacko here. Graham Lowe rates Webby as our best coach. He loves the way he goes about his things, but another year like this pressure. Yeah. I love the way Webby goes about his business, and it's more than like, so the first grade side, the way it runs out of paper, 100%. I've seen some amazing things from the system that he's built that decide if it plays that system properly, we look like a really dominant football side, and that's why I stick by him. I can understand the general fans looking at the overall, like the wins and losses like this and going like, well, you know, the coach and all that. But like, again, like we need to allow this coach to build, learn off these certain things. But when he talks, I listen. Like, he just seems like a type of guy that I would want to die for. Like, you know what I mean? Like, those are good coaches. Like, I didn't really feel that with Kearney. I didn't really feel that with Nathan Brown. I didn't really feel that, like, not since, like, even from memory, like, the Cleary days, like, he pretty much left after one of our better years there too. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's just my thoughts on it anyway. OG Thunder, AFB low run meter is a bit out of character tonight. We can't expect AFB go 200 every night. And like, I know mid part of the season, I was a bit questionable on AFB's effort to the side. I thought he had a real good crack in that first half. Like, I thought he was really, really on. I thought he had some decent moments, but yeah, it's just one of those nights for the boys where they had to defend and they couldn't defend. Isaac, hopefully JFH can come into the next year and really perk up the game's attitude. I feel like the best thing that JFH can bring to us is that he's going to make us play more like a team unit instead of a whole bunch of individuals trying to make the system work. And it's how the Penrith Panthers work. That's how the best systems work. You know, look at the Doggies. They don't have the best team on paper, but they're bought in all together as a unit. And because Fisher Harris is like, you know, you look at him as a front rower, a lot of people still pick Payne Haas as a talented. Like, for me, I think Payne Haas is the most talented front rower in the competition. That's what a lot of people will call the best front rower in the competition, right? But like what makes Fisher Harris so special, he gets people to buy in because he's such an intimidating figure. He he doesn't allow systems to drop, and having him and Mitch Barnett to get there together, it gets me excited. But again, we still got the run out to the rest of the season. Let's get behind these boys here too. And just hopefully these boys can really regather some sort of pride into that jersey for next year. Kurt Fleming, why do we not try and get repeat sets, build pressure? I feel we've barely seen that in a year. For me, bro, we've seen it in moments this year, but like in games like this, the reason why we can't do repeat sets is because we can't fucking defend. Like, how are we going to get repeat sets? As soon as we turn the ball over, there's going to be a line break, 6 line breaks in this game, Parramatta score. How are you going to build pressure that way? So for me, defensively is how you build pressure. No matter what, if the ball gets a repeat set or we pin them down behind the 10, that's how you create pressure. That's just really what it is. Kurt, I don't think he has. I honestly think there's just a lot more going on than what we really think about. Like, I think the injuries and stuff. I think that's really taken a lot in the season. The cohesion's gone. A lot of people calling for different changes, left, right, and center. I think it's just one of those seasons. But I would it's more on the players out there to go play out the system. We know the system works. We've seen it work, and we've even seen it work this year. That's the biggest thing. Danny Wilson, I felt like at the beginning of the season, our defense was on, but our attack was criticized. So I feel like we overreacted and neglected our defense in search of a potential attack. Again, a big key part of that too, my bro. I think Luke Metcalf was a very big out for us because of what he can bring as a player that just plays what he sees. His running game's the best part of him too. And I think that's the best way our whole attacking system worked. Defensively, I agree. We were incredible to start the season. The big change happened when we started to notice injury in our key players, and they were starting to play through injury, and we started to lose our defensive system a little bit because teams are actually spotting up on some of our players there, like Sean Johnson and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think that, yeah, there's a little bit of ability to, there's a little bit of food for that, but yeah, we'll see how we go. Tony T, Webby is still our man. Agree, bro. I hope we can show improvements in the remaining games and get some young boys in experience. Great to see Metcalf look sharp in Cup today. I did want to touch on the Cup team. Bro, Cup was incredible today. Just that team that ran out of paper were unreal. We'll touch on it a little bit more after get through a little bit more questions. But yeah, agreed. Our Cup game, our young boys are really stepping up in players. So really excited for the future for our club. Broncos, starting Hudson next year. I think that if Shawnee wants to go around, he's fully healthy to go. It's going to be Sean Johnson and Luke Metcalf. But if you want to talk about from further than that, I think that Tamati Martin and Luke Metcalf will end up being our halves pairing for future. But that's just my opinion. OG Thunder, MGT 6 tackle breaks. Agreed. He, in the attacking side of things, he had some good moments, had a couple of errors in him. But yeah, he'll grow from some of those moments though too. He's still so young, bro. Jazzy. Oh, Jazzy. You're a beast. Now it's 30th year in the comp next year, is it? Keep the faith. Hey, I didn't fall in love with the side because of premierships or anything like that. One day when it happens, it's going to be the best day ever for all of us. So let's just, get behind the boys and just watch good football. That's all I want to see. JFH and Barnett will combine their mental edge, so expect more spine in the pack next year. Agreed, Jacko. Agreed. And as I kind of touched on before, how tough would it be to drop your standard when you got both those boys in the middle putting in effort? So I'm excited to see what they can bring next year, but I'm excited to see what they can do running out to this year to see who really stands up in these moments and the leadership that gets shown. Down under. What's going on? Reserve grade had a good win today. Do you think Metcalf will come back in next week or keep him in reserve to prepare for the next year? I would love to see him get back into first grade at the end of this year, just to see him back in contact and stuff. I know there's a risk, obviously, maybe another injury in that, but I think that it would just be good to see Sean Johnson, Luke Metcalf run out for the rest of the year, us build to next year and see what really happens. Maybe Chanel Harris-Davido go back to the 14 on the bench. But yeah, I just want to see Luke Metcalf back there. His speed, he can break open games. He's a game breaker. And I feel like we do miss that sometimes too. So, yeah, I want to see him back there next week. Richard, tried to redeem ourselves with the remaining games and finish out. Yeah, exactly. What's going on, bro? Up the doggies. Up the wires, baby. But yes, the doggies having a good season, my man. Jacko here. Okay, so it is what it is. Maybe time to bring a few cup players and see how they handle first grade. I think we've seen a lot of those boys up there. I would probably like to see maybe Jacob Laban maybe have another little crack. I liked what I saw from him today. The main one I want to see back up in first grade is Dimitri Sifikula. I want to see him back up there. You get around that first grade minutes, like getting in contact with the big boys. That's the one I want to see. But yeah, I think it might be a little bit of time. See if they can revitalize something in the team that we've got here. And agree, Jacko, he did look sharp. I love that moment. I think we were up 2 tries, whatever. Caught it like, it was a long pass off Hooker. That defense on the inside wasn't really covering too well. He goes left foot, bang, bang. And his explosive like speed off like just the mark is just like something that we do miss a little bit. So shout out to him. I think it's going to be incredible. Zach Brav, who do we put at lock next week? I think Mitch Barnett has the ability to play lock. You got players like maybe Jazzy Davunga that could play in the middle there at like lock position. I wouldn't be surprised if we look at like a proper front row forward. Dimitri Sifikula would be an interesting one for me. Kalani Going's another one for New South Wales Cup. He had a solid game today too in Cup, so he could step up as well. But looking at the team list that we have here, Dimitri Sifikula getting 18th man says to me that he's close to the squad. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him around about those marks there at 13. So that's just my opinion. Tom Arle can play in that 13 role as well. But yeah, whether it just be a different look to us. We won't have that ball playing lock as what we usually do. It would be more of a front row that's just going to tough carries, defensive first. And then that halfback's going to play directly off the ruck. So Wade Egan, Sean Johnson, probably a bit more. It would be good for them to grow more of that combination again that they had last year. The Richmond Bulldogs, nice. You're a beast. Richard, I hate seeing first tacklers all go high. We do it often, and a lot of times it isn't a go. Low tacklers are easy to make, in my opinion. It's just the way rugby league is these days, my brother. Your first tackler has always got to go high no matter what. You got to wrap up that ball. Because, even like the Eels had a decent night tonight on the offloads, and teams kill you with offloads. As soon as you start tackling low, offloads are just left, right, and center. Unfortunately, that's just the way the game is gone. So it is a safer ability to really wrap up that ball first tackle. And your second man comes in, you overpower. And that third man, if you can't overpower with 2, that third man's just the cleanup man and really takes out the legs and really works out that way. If you look at the way the Penrith Panthers do their things, usually their first contact is really a lot more powerful. It's like the difference between the Melbourne Storm of past years and what the Penrith Panthers is now. Melbourne Storm were a catch and wrestle team, where the Penrith Panthers are an overpower, first contact. They want to put you on the back foot, lift and push. So there's 2 different ways of looking at it. I agree. Maybe sometimes that we do lose our wrestle there in the middle, but that's just laziness, and it's probably like attention to detail sort of stuff. So whether that's just need more work at like city kickboxing with our wrestling training and stuff, or that's just like combination things. But yeah. Give Kalani Going a go at lock. Yeah, I'd love to see it. Unfortunately, I don't think Kalani will be around for too much longer. He is an older body in New South Wales Cup. A lot of people think that he's still young spring chicken, but he's actually been around for a while. So it depends on what we want. If we want to look into the future, maybe we'd give someone else a little bit of a look so we get to see someone like a Dimitri Sifikula that I think can do that. And I've seen his ball playing ability. He's got that. So he would be my first option, but Kalani Going can definitely do it and be a solid option to fill in that hole. That's the whole thing. So do we want to fill a hole, or do we want to build more so? So that's just really where we're at right now. Yeah, 100% Jacko. He's got X factor personified. His speed is different. And a lot of people complain that we need speed. If we want speed, he's got the speed. Daniel Wilson, I hate the Storm. Yeah, a lot of people do. It's only because they're so good. Warriors fan. Metcalf isn't going to change anything you flop. Bro, he can't match the team around the field. I don't know what that is, my bro. I really don't. Let's just talk a little bit more positive, my brother. I wasn't saying he was going to change everything. I was just saying that he would be a nice little spark to have back in our lineup. a change definitely has to come with the boys just tying in defensively. That's just it. But obviously, I'm hoping you just tuned in now, I'm guessing, but I hope you have a good night anyway, my brother. Killer Mozilla. Oh, well, unfortunate this year. It didn't pan out. Regardless, the Warriors are really building something special. Isn't always linear. Yeah, that's exactly it. And we got to learn. There's bumps in the roads. There's a long process. You know, there was a period, I'm pretty sure, when Nathan Cleary took over the Panthers. You know, Anthony Griffin had it in top 4. And I remember they dropped out of the 8 that year from memory. And it took them a little bit to build into the side they are now. And look at them now. Like, sometimes it can go up and down. It happens. But we do need to continue to build on like some of the things that we have, because we don't want to crumble where we're at right now. We're in a sensitive area to where we are building something special. If we have back-to-back poor seasons, it will crumble us a little bit. But I see the young juniors that we got coming through and probably more opportunities, especially with Jazzy leaving. Unfortunately, I love Jazzy, but it does breed more opportunity for those young blokes to come in. They will push us into the new era. So hopefully they win something in New South Wales Cup. That's something I don't want to change to. If we bring up some of the young blokes from Cup, I feel like we lose that ability of all those blokes coming together in Cup and winning a championship in Cup and then coming up as winners. I think that's what Penrith did so well, is they had all their juniors come up as a group that won SG Ball, that won Harold Matts, that won, you know, all the big key things, and they just became winners. And that's such an underrated thing when you get to first grade. Like, if you're so used to winning and, you know, you learn how to do the little things that get you to win at the end of the day, that takes you so far when you get to first grade. So I would love to see all our boys come together, win a New South Wales Cup, you know, just 1 year after the time. We won Harold Matts now. Hopefully we win, you know, a New South Wales Cup. And then our future gets even further. Sifakula, a game for sure. Yep. Jazzy Livia, the season is done, so time to move on. It may be hard on Jazz, but this is professional sport. No place for lovey-dovey sentiment. I still would love to see Jazz on the bench, but yeah, I probably wouldn't say that Jazzy will get a starting spot. But again, like, yeah, appreciate Jazzy, but yeah. Michael Luck wouldn't agree, bro. He cut big dudes on his line all day. Yeah, but we're talking about a different era of footy, though, too, my brother. It's just the new era of footy. Defensive systems have changed completely. Like, it's a completely different game. It's like when you start to listen to a lot of older bloke, like Blocker Roach. The reason why he gets a lot of like stick in that is because like the older day of football. I'm not taking anything away from those old days, but like, there was so much on just effort, going out there, run straight, run hard, play hard. That was the way rugby league was back in those days. Rugby league now is so much more sophisticated. Listen to Willie Mason, the way he talks about defensive systems, it's changed so much. It's the reason why it is. But Michael Luck was incredible. And there's like, you know, there's still a place for a low tackle like Jakey Trbojevic and all that. But majority of the time, the way the game's gone, you got to wrap the ball up, because the second phase football in this game, this day and age, is completely shifted. The reason why everything's happening the way it is. But that's just it. But Luck was a complete freak, man. He was a complete freak. McGrath, no flops here. Zaro, yeah. But that's the thing, Jacko, too. Like, you know, a decade ago, it's completely changed from then. You know what I mean? Like, the systems are all changed. It's all different. It really is. It really is. Even though it's only a decade ago, like, yeah, agreed. Like, Blocker's era is different to Michael Luck's era, but Michael Luck's era is completely different to this era. You know, it's just the way it is. Like, you know, Willie Mason will come out and even tell you like the amount of things that change from even when he started to where he is now. And then when he's looking at the way the Bulldogs train, he's seeing that as well. So that's just really where it is. Like, but not saying there's no place for it, Richard, bro. It's just more of the fact of like, more times than not, coaches will prefer a higher tackler than a low grass tucking tackle these days. And there's multiple stories out there for it. There's like multiple coaches that will tell you that as well. It's just the way it is. But we still love a good traditional tackler. Like, I look at like Carl Lawton's of the world. I look at Jake Trebojevic's of the world. Even Freddie Lussick in our side's got a really good tackle technique for the older style tackle. You can create errors that way. But majority of the time, you want to tackle around that ball first and foremost, because that's the most safe, like, way to go about your business these days. I don't think it's completely gone out of the game, but we don't reward grass tackles anymore. Like you look at Rocco Berry, who's got a really good tackle form, but a lot of time the defensive system that's set in place needs the center to push out earlier and take that ball high instead of going late for a grass cutting tackle, because Dell, as soon as he sees a opposite center get on the outside of Rocco Berry, the system tells him that he has to dart in and cut down that space and time. If it was a different system where Rocco was getting up and early, wrapping up the ball, that shuts down that system. You get what I mean? So like there is a place for it, but there also is a reason why teams don't do it anymore. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that, Jacko. I don't understand why people jump to all these conclusions. Didn't I just say that Luck's an absolute freak? I'd say like Luck would be incredible in this era, but what I'm saying is like that the way rugby league's going right now and the way it is that wrestle is taking over rugby league. It's the safest way to play football. The more likely chance, if you try to go low majority of the time, you're going to give up offloads. It's just the way it is. But Michael Luck would absolutely kill it in this era. You know what I mean? We saw Simon Mannering filter over eras like he did. But what I'm saying is it's a different era to what it was back then, to where a lot of the tackles they were pulling off back then were the majority of the tackles, if that makes sense. Like you look at that era, a lot of those hitters were out there. You had like the Hopoatis of the world. You had obviously the Georgie Tafurs of the world. You had obviously the Steve Maddis of the world. Like that era was built on that first contact going low. Like that was built on that era. Who would have said in this new era, he'd probably get, past the 70 tackle mark. He'd probably get 80 tackles in this era from hitting high and getting, having a safer tackle. Like it's just the way it is. I'm not saying anything about that. It is what it is. That's I don't like people saying I'm jumping to conclusions, but it's what, I don't know. I don't know how you got that from what I was saying. I really don't. OG Thunder, I hope we get Barney at 13 and Bunty in 10. Yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good to see that. Again, I'd love to see Dimitri Sifikula. I think he deserves a spot there, but yeah, I can see that too because both are older. Keep Dimitri in cup and have all those boys come together and win something in cup. I reckon that'll be good. Michael tackled in the front line, not out wide. Everything that ran home got cut in half. Yeah. We're talking about the era of even look at it like the Charlie Gubbs of the world, all that sort of stuff. They used to chop like that. As I said, you still got Jake Trbojevic that is doing that. But majority of the time, if you watch football currently right now, majority of the time, everyone in the middle catches high and they come in late. It's just what it is. It's what it is. I'm not saying that you can't do it anymore, but preferably you go high these days. Jacko here, Wrestle has been in for years. It ain't new Storm. Yeah, and look how dominant the Storm were in those periods, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like in that era, every team had to learn to do that with the Storm, and then they got further ahead from everyone else. That's the reason why the Storm was so far ahead. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I'm not saying that it's not there, but I'm saying that you can't do that every time these days. We're not in the 90s. We're not early 2000s. We're not in the early 2010s. We're past that now. A lot of the best teams starting that in the early 2010s started to catch and wrestle. It's the reason why we had to try and get the wrestle out of the game is because they were so good at locking the ball up and trying to slow down the ruck. It's just the way everything is. You don't slow down the ruck well enough unless you get a really dominant legs tackle in under the rib cage tackle. If they come over the top of you, it's a quick play to ball and you've just lost momentum for your side. So I honestly, I'm so sorry if I sound like I'm not bringing my point across. And I feel like that a lot of people think that if I say one thing, it's got to be all the way that way instead of all the way that way. I agree with you. It'd be good to see someone that's going to chop around, but it can't always be the option. I'm just giving you the opposite opinion to say this is the reason why they do it. You know what I mean? Warriors fan, fella, I don't know what's going on with you tonight, my bro, but go watch some tape. Go watch some tape. He was one of the best at chopping low. He hit under that ball perfectly. He was so good at that. That's why he was the hitman. George Tafur is the same. Don, Warriors all the way to the end. 100%, my brother. 100%. 100%. Bobby, good to see you, my bro. Appreciate you coming through. Man, the brothers look lost tonight. Too many drop balls. Agreed. And just defense is just not there, bro. It really is not there. The boys just weren't communicating well enough. They just had lapse in concentration, 6 line breaks. Like, we got to defend our errors, and it just wasn't there. I don't know how many times I could really say it, unfortunately. Oh, I don't know who this Warriors fan guy is, but man, weird. You're a big day, brother. You're a big day. OG, we need a wrestler review from Kai Kara France. Bro, yeah. Bro, it is such a big part of the game these days. It just is. It really is what it is. Like, you know, when I was training at Base Training Center in Brendale, they would have people come from like Aspley and stuff like that, like rugby league clubs, and they'll just do their segments there. Like Damian Brown, you know, shout out to Damo, amazing coach. He's unreal. Used to train all like, you know, Aspley, all the North Brizzy boys that came through. It's just gotten that so big, like that massive part of the game. Like, you know, a lot of big wrestling coaches have like full-time jobs there of being wrestling coaches for rugby league sides. It's actually a hectic thing, but yes, it's cool. Agreed, Interwebby. Agreed. I think so. Time to jump off a jazz. Yeah. How many high shots did he get done for? Oh, it's almost funny at this point. Bro, if you're going off all the high shot, but go off all the shots that he put in under rib cages, man. Like, a guy was taking rib cages left, right, and center. But I think that might be it, guys. If you got any other questions before we end this stream, guys, again, I'm so sorry. It's a somber one. It just is what it is. They're going for the stats again. I think Chancey just added another 30 run meters to his tally. So he's 308 now on NRL.com. That's crazy. But yeah. Was there any other questions, guys? Feel free. Ash, you might want to get a few moderators for this channel, my bro. Is it on my channel, my bro? I didn't even know it was on my channel. It is what it is, bro. It just kind of shows the type of person that they are anyway, really. You know, you look at it at the end of the day, I've said it before, but you know, those people that comment like that, just a lot of people look at them and like they look like the idiot. So, or people think I'm the idiot. It is what it is. But yeah, again, like, yeah, he probably shouldn't be saying certain things, but it is what it is. Jacka here. Cheers for always fun. Yep. Cheers, Jacka. Appreciate you for the chat, my man. As always, you're always good for a good chat. Guys, appreciate you left, right, and center. Like, you guys are absolutely incredible. Jacko, I think it's different breed. Frizzell, broke Met's legs. With a low hit, but others I haven't seen in game recently. Yep. All right. Any other one, guys? I was hoping for a post-conference reaction, but it ain't up. I think someone already said that the conference is already done, but yeah, I think as soon as if I go on NRL.com and do it with you guys through that, I think I'll get copyrighted. I'm not too sure, and I don't really want to do that on Levon's channel, but yeah, if we can do that in the future, that'll be awesome, but we'll see how we go. Thank you, Rich, my bro. Appreciate you, my man. Nas, appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. I, again, do apologize the way that stream ended again, too. Like, you know, as soon as you go down to 30-4, like, you know, proper commentary really goes out the door for me when you're a Warriors fan. But hope you guys enjoyed that, all the live streams that we bring into you guys these days. Up the WAHS. That's it. Yep, growing pain. Play the long game. We just got to come together, guys. We'll be better for this. It is what it is. We got to learn from this and get better. That's just the way life is. We just keep turning up. All right, guys. Hope you have a good night. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully, we'll see how next week's goes. Make sure you tune in for Monday night stream. Obviously, Levon will be back with Joshy Gage for a really good mean feed podcast, guys. Go check that out as well. Go check us out, All You Can Eat Warriors, as well on WUTV. Again, guys, I'll quickly check if we've actually hit our subscriber mark. We're still at 1,399, guys. So feel free, if you're on my channel, jump over to WUTV, subscribe for us, guys. If you haven't subscribed already, feel free, guys. Again, if you only enjoy the channel, please make sure you like and subscribe. Would help us a ton. Get us at 1,400. That'd be absolutely amazing, incredible. But thank you so much, guys. I'm off. Hope you a good night. Hope you guys have a great weekend. I'm so sorry the way everything turned out, but it is what it is. We're all in this together, huh? We're all in this together. Much love, guys. Have a good night. Appreciate ya. Up the WUTVs.